don't get so stuck on one that you're not going to explore these other tools, because every AI tool does something differently better. Like, it just depends on the task. So you got to play around with it.
Welcome to AI for Architects, the podcast exploring how artificial intelligence is transforming the AEC industry and what it means for the future of your practice and our profession. I'm Aya Schlochter, founder and CEO of MGS Global Group, a company dedicated to driving growth for architects. Each episode, we dive deep into AI's impact on architecture. You'll hear from leading architects, experts, and innovators who are shaping the future of our field with AI. Artificial intelligence is here and accelerating faster than we expect. Together, we'll build AI literacy to help you thrive in this evolving landscape. Think of AI as a way to stay ahead of the curve. Whether you're an early adopter or a fast follower, architects need to get moving. So what does this mean for the future of our profession? Join us as we explore the exciting opportunities and critical challenges presented by AI. Ready to explore? Let's dive into the episode. Hi everyone, welcome back to AI for Architects podcast. Today I have two of my favorite people joining me, the powerhouse duo from Etch Design Group and the brains behind AI for Interiors, Lindsay and Jessica Nelson. If you're in Austin, you definitely have seen their work. Their firm has won about every award out there. And if you haven't checked out AI for Interiors yet, it's a platform where they help designers start using AI. They've built it because they noticed that the same thing is happening everywhere. Designers love the idea, but have no idea where it fits into their actual workflow. So ladies, it's good to have you back.
Yes, thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
We love seeing you. Mm-hmm.
It's amazing because they also have a podcast, by the way, AI for Interiors. And for some of you who don't know about Etch Design, I also had you in my podcast, Architect My Business podcast. So for entrepreneurs out there who want to be badass entrepreneurs, you need to listen to their episode. So I was in an AI event last night. I don't know if Smarter X and Marketing AI Institute. So they're based in Cleveland, and I heard a very interesting statistic. It was about a lot of people don't want to use AI, but might be forced to use AI because of talent shortage, right? So it's interesting because people are talking about AI as, is going to replace jobs. But in reality, I'm sure in our profession, it's hard to find the mid-career professionals. So what are your thoughts on AI not really replacing jobs, but help us fill in the gaps?
Yeah, I think absolutely AI should fill in the gaps for you. What I find with a lot of business owners is there's always these bottlenecks that really fill time in people's jobs and their workflows. And it doesn't have to be that way if you're utilizing AI. So you could think about it from the standpoint of, if I could make everyone as, I don't even want to say profitable, but as functional in their role as possible by doing all of the things that need to be done that they can't necessarily get to, or we feel like we might need to hire another person for that. If you can fill in the gaps using AI to essentially streamline their day-to-day processes to where it shaves off 20 or 30% of what they're doing every day, then it makes them, gives them the ability to actually do their job better and do more with their time than getting caught in these monotonous tasks and details that we do every single day. So that's the way I think about it. And I hear this all the time, and it's like, oh, it's going to replace people's jobs. It is going to replace some people's jobs. Like, that's evident in how it's going. But for interior designers, for construction, for architecture, all of those things, like, there's a need for us still, and there will be still a need for us. But I think that the firms that are truly utilizing AI to its capacity and its extent are far going to exceed the firms that are not. I mean, that's just how it's going to go.
Yes, it's true. So before we go into more questions, can you give us a little bit of a background on your AI journey and how you got from Etch Design to AI for Interiors podcast to now your new business?
Yeah, of course. This is always a funny story for people to hear, because I spent the first 10 years of my I would say, adult working career, actually at Best Buy. And I worked on the Geek Squad. I sold every electronic known to man. I love technology. I've always loved technology. And I tell people this too. And I think we talked about this on the Architect My Business podcast. But whenever I was in high school, like I started like an online zine, if you will, at 14. And I had like vendors that would literally send me products for like contests and things that I was doing. And they would show up at the house and my mom would be like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, it's just a contest I'm working on. It's this and that. But I would fight my brothers and sisters for the computer. Like I loved technology. And so that just kind of stayed with me as I got older. And working for Best Buy for 10 years, it was such a great company to work for. And I learned so much there. But I loved that I could dabble in everything, whether it be TVs, whether it be computers, digital cameras, cell phones, like whatever. I sold appliances for a while. But then I ultimately ended up in the Geek Squad while I was doing my design degree. And I was there in the Geek Squad for 2-3 years. They called me like the mama bear of the Geek Squad because it's just a bunch of guys working on computers that are not exactly the best when it comes to talking to people. And so, I learned how to put computers together and fix viruses, you name it. It was very cool. But then ultimately I went to interior design, and Etch has been around for 10 years. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary. And when AI started coming out, like we were dabbling in it, we were doing ChatGPT, we were doing things like that. But I hadn't really dove into like any of the image generation tools or anything. And it wasn't until we went to KBiz and saw a panel discussion there about AI that I walked away feeling very jazzed about it. And I didn't really have any tools that they were giving in that presentation that I could be like, okay, I'm going to go play with this today. But I went down this deep dive rabbit hole of AI after that and immediately saw like, this is huge. This can do so much for our firm. And so ultimately, in the beginning, it was for us to figure out ways to translate AI into our daily workflows at Etch. But I got so excited about it that I was like, okay, I can't stop talking about this. So it needs to be more than that, and I like to be able to teach people and work with designers. And Steph and I have always been the design firm that's like, I don't care what designer in town, if they need help with something, if I can help them, like we're just those kinds of people. And so at that point I was like, I want to teach this. I want to do this. And so we branched out and started AI for interiors, and slowly but surely it's become like my full-time role. So Stephanie's still involved very much at Etch. She does the day-to-day there, but she's like my confidant, in the way of AI, and she will come over and help me with things from time to time. So just, it's fun. It's so fun.
I never knew you worked in Best Buy as Geek Squad for 10 years. I knew you were a techie, but I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yep.
So for some people who don't know KBiz, it's kitchen, bath. What's KBiz again?
Yeah, it's the National Kitchen and Bath Show.
Yeah, it's a national. We have the same experience when I went to the AIA, American Institute of Architects, and I saw some presenters talking about the AI tools. That's when I started to with the whole podcast and the thing, because I was AI anxious. At first, I was AI curious, and then I became AI anxious because I thought it was going to replace me. And then I became AI confused. And then now I'm like, it's called the valley of despair in tech. When you become AI curious and then AI anxious, AI confused, and then clarity comes. So I think we're in the clarity phase, don't you think?
Totally.
What about you, Stephanie? Are you using AI in design, in particular for Etch Group?
Yeah. So the majority of what I use it for is ChatGPT type tasks where I'm using it to draft marketing or content, that sort of thing. And Jess has taught me a lot on the generative image generation side, but the majority of what I do is all written. So I'm having it help get my confused thoughts out into the real world and have it all make sense. And it's really nice. And it gives great feedback when you can get it to not just be agreeable. It can be critical too.
I've tried that before. It was not easy to hear. When they say, tell me the brutal truth about what I'm doing wrong, they won't hold back. Try that.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the AI tools that you are using now. You said, okay, you're doing Chat GPT. Do you create your own custom GPTs? And if you do, what type of GPTs and how is it helping the firm?
Yeah, it's actually crazy the amount of custom GPTs we have. I have to go through this list if I am looking for one, and I'm like, God, oh my! We're at 60 now.
Oh my God! Okay, you're totally geeky.
Custom GPT master, we'll call it. But yes, we have a custom GPT for everything. And for day-to-day etch roles and responsibilities, we've created lots there. But I would say our go-tos, we've created a personality analysis for new clients that basically not only tells us specific key strategies on working with that type of person based on their personality, but it also pairs them with the right people on the team and gives us a line of sight of, are these people compatible? And, if the design assistant that works with the designer that's compatible with the client isn't going to be compatible, it'll tell us why and the things to watch out for and how to navigate that. It'll help us draft the initial, client email. It'll do all kinds of things. But the personality analysis is by far one of our favorites because you get so much insight on these people that we're talking to. And it's very hard in the beginning of, stages of a design project to know if they truly are the right fit. I mean, we can ask a million questions, but it will also pair it to past clients that we've worked with and say they have similarities to this person. So, and that automatically gives us a line of sight. And we could be like, okay, that was a great client to work with. So, or not a great client. It just depends. So our personality one is probably one of our most used. We've got a budgeting one that actually helps us draft budgets, whether it be fixed or hourly, depending upon the project. It will help us draft those. We have an HR GPT, which just kind of helps navigate day-to-day questions, issues, anything like that. I mean, we've got GPTs for everything, but those are probably some right off the bat that we use very frequently.
So in terms of establishing, because a lot of people might be overwhelmed with creating all the GPTs, especially for people who are just overwhelmed with work in general, they don't have time to create GPTs. Yeah. So did you have to go through each employee and ask them what their pain points were to be able to come up with the GPTs that you have in your firm?
No, so we use deep research a lot.
Got it. Yeah.
And that's so helpful. I think deep research is probably one of the most insightful tools in ChatGPT.
And underutilized.
People just either they don't know about it, they're confused by it, they don't know how to use it. Also, speaking of GPTs, I know how hard it is for people to understand how to build these. And there's obviously two buttons whenever you're creating a custom GPT where you can talk to it and it will create the back end of that GPT for you just through standard chat and communication like you would in any other chat. But I don't go that route. I actually build it out with specific prompts that I've created. But I've created a custom GPT that actually writes those prompts for me. So I give it the messy Jessie brain dump and say, this is what I'm trying to do. And then it literally breaks it down into this, I call it the big, beautiful prompt, right? It's 7 key strategies for actually giving me the right information that I need. That's what I drop into the custom GPT. And it understands the project because it'll be like, okay, this is your title. This is your description. This is the prompt. These are the files that you need to load in there. It's kind of stupid simple. And so because I was creating them so often, I'm like, why don't I just create the custom GPT to create the prompts? And it'll work with every other prompt as well, whether it be deep research or just basic prompting. But I think that's always the most confusing part is because people don't know what information do I give ChatGPT? How much? How little? Is my brain dump going to confuse it? There's so many parts to writing a good prompt that just confuse people. And so they end up just using basic mode ChatGPT because they feel like they're going to mess it up or they're not getting the right information back.
So you use ChatGPT as your platform, not Claude or anything?
No, I bounce. So I use Claude. I use Gemini. The new Gemini Pro is amazing and I love it. And I've done some really cool things on there, like creating schedules and having it analyze plans and all kinds of things. I do feel like I'm not a stick to one tool kind of person. I live day to day in ChatGPT just because that's where I've got all of my custom GPTs built out. But depending upon the task, if based on what I'm trying to do, I'll go to Manus and I'll use their agent for a deep research, which will come back with completely different information than what ChatGPT will. And it'll organize it better personally and in an Excel spreadsheet, which ChatGPT just sucks at. I don't know why.
What is this tool again? Menace?
Menace? Oh, man.
How do you
Let me send you a
spell it?
referral code, Bill, because you'll get extra. You'll get extra.
Okay, how do you spell it? MANUS?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all
Menace
right.
is amazing. I love Manus. It takes deep research to a different level, and it provides you with ChatGPT does like a little source thing at the bottom, but it will literally give you like a whole downloadable file of all of the documents that it pulled, all of the everything. I had to put together spec sheets for me based on like links that I would send it. And then I had it cross-reference information because I noticed that there was some wrong information, and it literally would give me, here's all of the wrong information. This is what needs to be fixed. I was working with a plumbing showroom. And oh my gosh, incredible. I love Manus. But then I'll use Claude too. So like Claude, I feel like is great for other things. And then I'll use Gemini Pro, and I just bounce between them all. And then Perplexity, I'm not as much of a fan with Perplexity personally, but I don't know. Some people love it and just swear by it. So it just depends on, you got to find your recipe and you got to find what you like.
Yeah.
And I always tell people like, experiment. Don't get so stuck on one that you're not going to explore these other tools, because every AI tool does something differently better. Like it just depends on the task. So you got to play around with it.
I'm the same. I used to use Perplexity because it gave you sources, but now since GPT gives you sources, my process is GPT and Claude because Claude is more strategic.
Yeah.
But Gemini Pro, I just upgraded to Gemini Pro. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm going to explore. What is it that you love about Gemini Pro right now?
I have found that the tasks that ChatGPT would do subpar related to actual like design related items. So I was giving it like heavy lifting tasks, and it was much better at those than ChatGPT has ever been. And so where I started with it, and I was like, okay, how can we expedite more things on the design process? So I uploaded a set of floor plans. And I said, I need you to go through and list out like room by room. I was going through for light fixtures in this regard. And I said, I need you to go line by line, tell me what light fixtures are in each room, the rough estimated sizing for the light fixtures based on ceiling heights, based on the plan itself. And then go through and tell me, is there anything that we're missing in this plan? Is there anything that we should add? Key indicators like, this is a sloped ceiling, so we need to make sure that we've got a fixture that can work on a sloped ceiling, hang heights, drop heights, everything. And it literally put the entire package together for me. So then I was like, okay, well, if it can do that, then what else can it do? So then I had it put together like a door schedule list, a cabinet hardware schedule list based on the elevations. How many do we need? How many pulls? What size would be the best? All of that. Like I had it do all of the like heavy lifting so that it expedited what I would need to do. And it gave it all the information there for me where I didn't have to like shuffle through and sort through. So
it's amazing that you're making just Stephanie's life easier.
Yeah. Well,
she's doing, if she's in Etch and she has to create all these door schedules, you can just do that, right?
Right. Well, and it takes time. And also, if you're a new designer that's just learning how to do like door hardware schedules or something,
is
this a passage? Is this a lock set? Is this whatever? Like it gives you all of that, and it just simplifies your life completely. So that's what I'm all about, is just finding different tools to really help simplify each process of design. And like, that's what I work with design firms on, is like, how can we figure out your pain points? How can we figure out the things that take the most time in your day to day, and find AI tools that will help supplement that. So
see, a lot of people get overwhelmed with AI tools, but I do the same thing with ChatGPT. I load floor plans and things and ask, oh, am I missing anything? What is the layout bad? Or how can I improve? These tools are very inexpensive and can really help find your blind spots. But obviously you need to be qualified to do QA QC before you load it, right?
Right.
Like for us with 20 years experience, we know what the output should be. If there's a young student who's out of college who doesn't know the standards, probably is not the best. You shouldn't trust GPT 100%.
Right.
So let's talk about some of the tools, two tools, Prom and Midjourney.
Yeah. So, well, it's expanded, honestly. Like in the beginning, we were using Prom quite frequently for renderings. And so we would upload an interior elevation or a 3D model that we haven't loaded the materials in for, and basically have Prom render those for us. I do still use Prom, and I like Prom still, but I actually kind of switched over more towards ArchSynth, ArchSynth. ArchSynth has a lot of different tools built in. One of them is taking a photo and actually converting it to a CAD file for you. Whereas like you could do that with ChatGPT, but technically you're just exporting like a PNG file, and then you've got to go to a converter and do all of this. Whereas ArchSynth has all of that built in. So you literally just upload a photo and you can convert that picture of whatever it is into a CAD block for you. So you don't have to like draw everything out.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. That's such a great resource for us and for architects who are listening.
Yeah.
Have you heard of D5 Render?
D5. I haven't heard of D5 Render. Mm-mm.
Check it out. It's also, I saw them in AEC Innovate. They're actually gaining a lot of traction now. So
okay. There's so many. It's so funny because people will be like, have you heard of this? And I'm like, no. I have a folder in my Google, and it's like AI. And anytime someone says something, I always drop it in there. I'm like, okay, I'm going back to this. I'll check it out.
So we just did a major research report over 60 use cases in architecture and interior design for small, medium, large firms.
Yeah.
And also the primary tools and secondary tools that companies use. Very detailed research. I'll share that with you.
Yeah.
So I want to check out what other people are using globally. So we did an extensive research for firms in the UK, Australia, US, and the United Arab Emirates. So I'm going to be releasing that soon because, again, it's nice to know what the majority. It's good for me. Doing the research is giving me an idea of how, for the company, like what type of tools can I share with my potential clients?
Yeah.
Right. So based on all the things that you're doing, right? Like with the ChatGPT, I'm sure it's really helped with burnout in the organization. Right? It's probably hard for people to leave you, go to another firm that is not using AI. Like, you think using AI and GPT is part of like a retention strategy? Like, if I worked for you and then I had to move to another country and they don't use any GPTs, I'll be so upset.
Right. Well, I find that like in general, there's some designers that I work with that I do coaching with, and their firms are like not at all on board with AI, and they're doing their best to pull them in the right direction. But some of these firms are just like very old school in their way of thinking. And so I have to coach them on like how they can coach their employers to be able to adopt these new tools. Like you can't just put your feet in the ground and be like, all right, I'm not doing any of this. I'm not getting on board, blah, 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 because you're really just doing yourself and your firm a disservice, all of the employees, because there are so many tools out there that can help them. And ultimately, it's going back to your firm, right, in the way of productivity. So like, that's how I have to think about it. But at Etch, the girls, like I'm always sending them different tools and different things that can expedite processes. They use a lot of imagery tools. A lot of them feel very comfortable in ChatGPT for image generation, but I definitely think Nano Banana is better in terms of everything image related. Like ChatGPT just really wants to mess with me when it comes to images. And it's like, I don't want you to change that. And I'm going to change that. And I'm like, no, this is very annoying. So like Google Mixboard, Nano Banana Pro is fantastic. There's so many tools. And then jumping back to ArchSynth. So if you have a 3D model that you've already rendered, or not rendered, but added the materials in the model to show a client what it would look like, then you can just go to ArchSynth, their rendering tool. And I feel like it does a really good job with like lighting and trying to get a good match of the materials. But the cool thing is, even if it didn't match the materials, you just take that image, go over to Nano Banana or Mixboard, and then give it the actual materials, drop the wallpaper in, drop the light fixtures in, whatever. And then it will swap it out so that it literally looks like your space, which is awesome. So yeah. So I'm like a jumper of AI tools. I'm like, okay, well, it got me 60% of the way. I need to be at least 90% of the way. So then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to take that image and then go the last 30%. So that's kind of how
I think that's just the way to go. Speaking of ChatGPT and how bad their image generation is, I loaded my info and I say, what do you think I look like? Oh my God. It was so awful.
Oh no.
They showed me a photo of like, okay. Yeah, I can share it with you. It's hilarious.
Oh, I want to see it.
I'm a 5-foot woman and I gave them my weight. I'm like, oh my God, I look like a balloon. I'm like, anyway,
Hilarious.
just as a side story, right? I'm like, it
Yeah.
was just too funny. So Midjourney, in my survey, like a lot of firms use Midjourney. Do you know why? Like, what is the big deal? I studied Midjourney. I've never used it. I
Yeah.
mean, I did my research on it, but is that one of the top tools you use in the firm? No,
I
everybody uses it. Yeah.
still use Midjourney a lot, but I find myself going to it for a lot of random things in the design process. I think it's great for inspiration imagery up front, or if I'm trying to, like, maybe I don't have a picture of the room that we're trying to add furniture in, then you can go to Midjourney and kind of tell it what you want room wise and have it actually create an image of like a blank room. And then you can input furniture into there. I find little gaps where I can edit or insert an Midjourney image. Also for like the decks that I'm doing for presentation, I think Midjourney is a great tool to be able to pull images and things from there, because it's not like iStock photo. Like you're literally telling it what you want and then it creates that for you, which is fantastic. Mood board generation in Midjourney, patterns. You can create wallpapers, you can create fabrics. I have one designer that I work with. She just moved to Dubai and she's got this side project where she's making scarves, like really beautiful scarves, and she's creating the images in Midjourney, and they are cool, like very cool. And she's got a manufacturer that prints them in silk, and it's awesome. So there's a lot of cool things that you can do. You just have to think about how it can fit into your process.
I also think that the industry as a whole knows Midjourney.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's one of the most well-known tools. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best for everything. It's just the most well-known. And so that's why the industry uses it a lot and it comes up a lot.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Have you used Maquette.ai?
I have heard of that one before. I haven't used that one.
It's also one of the most rated tools that our survey, just sharing a resource. So have you also used Gamma? Have you heard of Gamma?
I have heard of Gamma. I haven't played around with that one too much either.
Yeah, because I do a lot of presentations. I know you're going to be speaking at KBIS.
Yes.
Right. And last year or this year, I spoke so many times. And it's an interesting tool because you put all your notes, your slide notes in Gamma.
Yeah.
And then it will create a slideshow in like a minute or less. But then obviously you can revise it and change it. But it's just like something you don't, like an initial, I'm like, oh, I didn't think about presenting my chart that way, or the headline. So check it out, because it's another resource I use a lot now that you're speaking a lot nowadays, right?
Yeah. I feel like I use like NotebookLM a lot for kind of putting together. They've got their slide creator now, and they've got.
I didn't know NotebookLM did that.
It's amazing. Like I love Notebook. Yeah.
Yeah, we're such geeks. I love it. I love NotebookLM. Before they didn't even have the mind map. Now they do.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So now they have a slide thing now.
Yeah, they got a slide thing. And I just like it too, because if I spent my day watching all of like the YouTube videos that I want to watch, my whole day would be gone. But now I can give it a topic of something that I want to learn about. It will go and find the resources for me, compile all of those videos together, create either like the podcast style thing that I can do like while I'm doing dishes or something, and catch me up on the product or the tool, or I can create the slideshow presentation, which is awesome. And it like literally walks you through and talks about it and puts it in a slide form. However you learn, Notebook can do that for you. However you learn.
So that's new. That's new for me. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, guys. You have to check out, especially for content creators. Like I have to look at 5 or 6 YouTube videos for like an AI podcast, and I have no time to sit through an hour-long video. Right. So they can just like give me a mind map and things like that. So, I mean, it's good for firm owners for Stephanie, for instance, you're doing a lot of marketing and chat GPT stuff. You don't have to only use it to create jet images or ideation, but it really is part of the business. So I don't see AI as just a tech thing for the tools, but it's really a firm-wide strategy, right? I want to talk about one more tool, and then I want to talk about the AI for interiors platform. If you're running a growing architecture firm, you're probably not short on projects, you're short on people. Talent shortage is real. Finding and retaining skilled professionals takes time. Meanwhile, deadlines keep getting closer. And when you're balancing growth with quality, it gets harder to maintain your project standards as the work piles up. We are here to bridge the gap. We provide qualified architecture staff on demand so you can scale your delivery without compromising quality. That's what MGS Global Group does. Whether you're overwhelmed with construction documentation, need BIM support, or your internal systems just aren't built for this level of growth, our team plugs in seamlessly. Think of us as an extension of your in-house team without the long hiring process. And because we work across time zones, your projects keep moving even after your office closes for the day. If your timelines are starting to feel stretched and your team's at capacity, visit mgsglobalgroup.com. We can get started in 24 hours. We're here to help you scale smarter and deliver faster with quality, consistency, and peace of mind. So I know there are a lot of tools for meeting notes, and you pick one. What do you use again?
Well, so we actually use two. So we use a program called Fyxer for our email. And
I love Fyxer.
Yes, we love Fyxer too. For those of you who don't know, it basically drafts responses to any message that comes into your inbox and has it ready to go. So whenever you open that message, you just scroll down and you'll see a response to whoever emailed you written in your tone of voice. And so Fyxer is fantastic for that. I love Fyxer, but we pay for Otter as a firm and we use that frequently for all of our client needs and things like that. But I started using Fyxer because they have the same type of Otter AI transcription tool built in. And since it's already attached to my email, it kind of syncs the two up, which I like. But Otter and Fyxer are great. Fyxer just
Plaud.
What about really... Plaud? Yeah,
Plaud is actually, I have it in my bag because I used it yesterday. Plaud is my note taker for on the go, and I wear it on my wrist. And it's this tiny little capsule.
What? That's so. Yes. I love all your hacks, girl. I thought I was optimized, not as optimized as Jessica.
Oh my gosh, my Plaud is amazing.
What is Plaud?
It looks like a Snippet, honestly. It's like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you basically just press the button down. It turns red. It'll give you like a little buzz saying that it's recording. But I can use that for anything. If I want to remember something that like my kids are saying, I can just hit it. And I'm like, okay, well, remember this, whatever it is, Christmas gifts or whatever. Or my husband, and he's telling me something and I'm like, he's not going to remember this. So I'm going to hit the record button so that I can tell him 3 days later that we talked about this.
Wow.
It's so cool, but it transcribes everything. The online system where you can like organize your chats and everything, you create folders. So if you know that you're meeting with this client weekly, you can just hit the record button. And then once it syncs everything up, then you just drop that transcript into their client folder on your Plaud drive. And there are so many types of summaries that it can give you. And so whether you want like an executive summary, if you want like an ADHD friendly summary that just hits the high level bullet points of everything, like you can do whatever you want. And you can also create your own type of summary as well. And it's very cool. So
do you have to talk to it like a watch or can you just like,
no, someone can be sitting like on the sofa across the room from me and it'll still pick up what they're saying. So
because I went to an event yesterday, I was like taking notes, right? I should have recorded and then transcribed, but with that, it would have been nice to have, right?
You just hit it. You just hit it anytime.
Because my phone, I use that, but sometimes I get text messages.
You're not going to want to, well, and if you're like in the middle of a conversation with someone, you're going to be like, hang on a second, let me pull up my phone and record it, Whereas if I'm talking to them, I can literally just be like, hit it, and then.
Yeah, all right. This has been amazing. Jessica and Stephanie, you guys are like rock stars, right? And you've figured this out, especially all the tools that you're using to optimize your firm. And I'm sure it's helped you become more profitable, less burnt out. And I'm sure a lot of people will want to learn from you. And it's such a gift that you have AI for interiors and you're sharing your knowledge. Other people are just going to hoard information, but you're giving them out, obviously not for free because you have all these courses.
Yeah.
But can you tell me about AI for interiors and the AI Design Academy?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Design Academy is super cool because it consists of designers all across the country who are doing exactly what we're doing here about learning and implementing AI. And so basically what it does is it gives you kind of the support system to be able to ask questions and talk about new tools. We have a monthly AI coaching call that we get on, and everyone brings their issues, their questions, their things, or just stuff that they want to learn about. And I go through and basically teach them on these specific strategies of new tools and how they can use them, and answer any questions too. So it's like you're not alone in your journey of AI learning. And the fact that you have other designers who are right in the throes of it with you and trying to learn and navigate all of this is just very helpful. So, and I post like custom GPTs on there that people can use, and prompts and hacks and what's happening in the design world with AI, and keep them in the know, because the way that this is all moving, it is so fast. It's hard for me to keep up with, and I'm doing this every day. So I don't expect an interior designer who is down in the weeds of projects every single day having the time that I do to be able to learn about these new tools, how to use them, where it fits in best in the process. And as a designer, I know what the process is. And so I can say immediately, like, use it for this. Don't worry about it for these things because it's not going to do it that great, but use it for this. And here's how, and here's the prompts, and here's all that you would need to know to dive in. And so that's what the community is great for. And just meeting other designers too, that are willing to learn, willing to help, and everyone explores different tools. So
how do we join the community? Like if I were an interior designer, because I'm looking at this, the membership, right? Is it $195 per month, or
it's $197? Yeah, it's
$197. Yeah,
that includes that group coaching call, which you can get on each month, and then community access throughout the month. And so they basically can go on at any time and ask questions, and I'm always monitoring that and making sure that they get immediate responses, which is helpful for them. So that you can log in to our website, aiforinteriors.com. And if you go to the memberships page, then it will have all of the information about joining the Design Academy. And there are some courses on there too. There's a Midjourney, a ChatGPT, and a Pro AI course. They're a little bit older because I've stopped updating them based on how quickly things are changing. I would literally have to update them every day on the courses. So, but they would still give anyone who's trying to get the training to be able to start using these tools, the ability to do that through those courses.
Yeah, because I see there are 3 courses.
Yep.
ChatGPT Masterclass, Pro AI, and Midjourney. Yeah, the thing with AI tools is it's moving so fast that some companies disappear, but some companies are changing so much. Every day there's an update.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So
those are helpful. And then I also do like actual onboarding, like one-on-one training with teams. So if a design firm reached out to me and they said, we have a team of 5 or 10 or whatever, and we are only using ChatGPT for email writing, things like that. I don't know how to start incorporating this. I don't know what to start incorporating. I don't know where to begin. Can you help me? And that is my favorite part of what I do, because I actually work one-on-one with design firms and design teams on figuring out the best tools and resources to actually implement them into their process. I teach them along the way on how to do that. I create the custom GPTs for them. I set up their ChatGPT account so it doesn't sound like AI. It's actually with their brand voice, with their specific, it's tailored to them, which is very helpful, because I feel like a lot of designers are just like, well, it just sounds like AI all the time. I'm like, well, you haven't trained it properly, so you got to do that. So it's like, start at the beginning. We work from here. Yeah. I get to know your entire process and all of your pain points, and then I figure out ways that we can utilize and implement these AI tools and do the training along the way.
So do you have a timeline for a firm? Because what if some firms just drag their feet and not, right? Like your time is valuable, right? So if a company will approach you, like, hey, can you help me with my AI onboarding? Do you give them like 3 months, 6 months? How does it for somebody who wants to come? And if you say 6 months and they pay you all this money, but they don't have team members internally that can do it, do you qualify your potential clients as well?
Well, it's a non-negotiable. Like, we have a meeting set every week, and I work a lot with the firm owner in the beginning, and then we start to pull in other team members based on what the task is. And so I try to make it as easy to bite off as possible, because it is a lot. There's a lot of parts and pieces, and I try to make it as simple as possible. But like, the onboarding process is like, we meet weekly, we talk about your firm, we get your brand DNA is what I call it nailed down. And that's what ChatGPT is going to essentially run off of. in terms of its responses and how it communicates with anything that it outputs. And then once we've got that, then we really dive into the process of things to understand the pain points of the business, what custom GPTs would be most beneficial for them and their team. And that's usually when we start pulling different team members in so they can talk to me about their process and what they're doing and where their pain points are. And then I would take a little hiatus while I'm actually building the custom GPTs. And then we join back together and I'm like, okay, here's the custom GPTs we've created. Here's how to use them. We do a full deep dive with them and their team on like how to use ChatGPT to its fullest extent, not just the basic stuff that most people use it for. And then we start training on other tools like the image generation tools, Nano Banana and Mixboard and all of those, ArchSynth. And then I even help with like AEO, answer engine optimization, which is basically, everyone knows about SEO, right? And Google, but now it's switching over to this large language model searches. Like we get a lot of people that find us on ChatGPT. And so there are specific things and specific parameters that you need to follow in order to be found through an LLM. And I also help with that process too, and being able to create custom GPTs that will provide them with the content that looks at those, still staying SEO friendly, but also making sure that it hits that AEO mark as well.
Jessica, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was talking to my COO and he mentioned that too. He's like, people are not going to be looking at SEO. The chats are going to be looking at, it's a different ball game. So that's part of your consulting. Yeah. You do that too.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing. Such a great resource.
Yeah, no, it's great. And the process itself is typically about 4 months long. So it's not like it happens overnight, but it spaces it out enough to where they're still getting tools right off the bat. You get your ChatGPT set up right away. So it's automatically going to start sounding better, sounding like you. And then past that point, we dive into the other things. So it's bite it off in chunks. It's not happening overnight.
Do you have ad hoc services? Like what if I just want the AEO or a few GPTs? Is that something that you would consider doing? Because some companies already probably know how to use the technical stuff like Midjourney and all the ideation tools, but that part of the running the firm, like creating custom GPTs. And so that's part of the services that you can provide.
Absolutely. So the onboarding, the one-on-one onboarding is predominantly what I end up doing, but I have a few firms that I'm working with right now that only want the SEO and AEO and only want some custom GPTs built out. So that's totally fine. And I'm happy to work either way. But I will say if you're only biting off certain things, like say you create the custom GPTs, but your team isn't really like fluently using AI and they need more training, then it's, yes, I can create these for you, but we really need to tackle these other components to where you're going to get the full benefit. And some firms just don't want to do that. And they're like, well, we'll get there eventually. And I'm like, okay, but I'm telling you, like, in order to really make this worthwhile, like, here's what I think we should do. So, but it's up to you at the end of the day. I mean, every business owner is different and I get that. So, but I'm here to help however. And I want to be able to train and teach and implement these things to where it really does become a time saver for all of the employees involved.
So let's talk about your speaking engagements. You have one coming up in KBIS in Orlando.
Yep.
And I know that you also have you're open to speaking engagements as well. So talk about what your event is in Orlando for people. I have friends who are attending the KBIS in Kitchen and Bath. So I'll tell them to check you out what is the topic? And
yeah, it's basically an intro to AI and how it fits into not only interior design, but also construction as well. Like what are some tools and resources that you can be utilizing with your team, with your firm, whatever. And I always find that when I'm speaking, it pretty much always has to be an intro to AI because you never know who's going to be in the room. Some people are going to be up here with their learning skills and other people are literally just starting out. And so that entry level, here's how to use it. Here are some things that you probably haven't thought about that you should think about and how to use them. And it's really just like a kind of a quick deep dive, if you will. But that's what we'll be doing at KBIS. And we speak that Thursday of KBIS. So it's like the last day of the show. We speak in the morning. And we also have a few other things going at KBIS too. We're working with Feeney, which is a custom railings company. They are having us do 2 presentations for AI. They'll just be like 30 minutes at their booth. And then we'll also have a panel discussion with Fyxer as well, which is a plumbing company. So we'll be jumping all over at KBIS. It's going to be a very busy week. But I have other things planned, speaking engagements. I'm doing 2 in San Antonio next year for ASID, another ASID one in California near, where is it?
The Bay Area.
Oh, Bay Area, yes. I was about to say the Golden Gate Bridge. Where is that? Bay Area. Went out of my mind. And then I've got a couple other that are pending too, but yeah.
And how many young kids do you have, Jessica? How many young kids do you have?
I have 2, and that's why I'm trying not to travel as much next year. So I told Steph, if I can just do 1 per quarter, and even if I have to be gone for the entire week, it's better than what I did this year, which was literally like, I'm gone this week, I'm here next week, I'm gone the following week. And that's just how this year was. But
mine too. I was like, I'm going to travel less next year. And I already have 3 trips in January. I'm like,
oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to tone it down this year. And I'm like,
when you say that though, the universe is like, oh, I got you.
So can you imagine life without GPT and without AI?
No.
Right?
No. I mean, you know how they say like AI makes you dumber? Like there are definitely certain times in my day where someone will ask me something or say something and I'm like, oh, I need ChatGPT right now. Like it's such a go-to for me that it becomes a bit of a crutch, but I also have to remind myself like it's speeding up what I'm doing too. So I don't know.
I don't think it makes you dumber. The thing is, like I'm in this event I went to, this is a guy who's been in AI for like 10 years.
Yeah.
He's an AI founder. He sold his company. One of my biggest takeaways that he said, which I wrote about in LinkedIn, is everyone is equally behind, even him, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's refreshing to know. He sold his company for millions and now he's consulting in another firm. And he said everyone's equally behind. But to your point about being stupid, I think you have the right, and here, this is what he said, earn the right to push the easy button because you've already done like 20 years, since your Geek Squad days all the way to now, you've earned the right to press the easy button, right? But the problem is quality control and quality assurance. I have people giving me reports that they don't even freaking check, and it's a 30-page report, or they give me 10 emails that clearly ChatGPT did, and they didn't even go through it. So that's a no, right? So he said, don't give me a 30-page strategy. Tell me the right answer, earn the right to push the easy button. So that's what he said. And I get that a lot. Sometimes I get reports that I could have, if I wanted to ask ChatGPT, I would have done it myself. Like, why am I paying you to do this, right?
Right.
So we're earned the right, I think.
I think so too, but it's like know when to use it. No, we always look at it and see what it outputs.
Any parting thoughts for people who are very against AI, Jessica and Stephanie? Like what would you say to people who don't want to adapt and who are just, I mean, there are some people who really don't want to use AI.
I would say good luck. To be very frank, I have to look at this as like the age of when the internet was born. And there were a lot of people that were like, oh, that'll never catch on. That'll never be anything. And here we are on the web every day doing everything. Like that is our life, and AI will be our life. Like whether they like it or not, it's just a part of evolving and the advancements in technology. And with every new advancement in technology, there's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be people that are going to put their foot in the ground and say, I'm not going to do this. But at the end of the day, it's not going to stop it. It's going to make their life harder. And so I guess what I would tell them is like, there's a lot of ways to make your life easier if you let it, but you can stand there and dig your heels in the ground as much as you want, but it's really not going to change anything. So I would say be open, try a few tools, like test it out, see what it can do for you. And I always tell people too, whenever they're just starting off, like I find there's an 80-20 rule with AI. AI can get you like 80% of the way there, but the last 20% is still you, your brain, your refinements, your knowledge that you bring to the table. And you've got to make sure that what it's outputting really truly does match what you're asking it and what you're trying to get back. And so don't get frustrated if it's not giving you the output that you want, whether that be through image generation or through the context that it's providing you in a large language model. It can be frustrating sometimes, even for me that I do this every day. It can be frustrating, but if you can navigate around that and figure out ways to incorporate it in your workflow that it is working, it's a huge game changer. I mean, just, give it a try.
Stephanie?
Well, I was just thinking, even for those who think they're avoiding AI,
they're really not.
Really high odds that they aren't. Your phones use AI, your cars use AI. It's been around for many years, not just the last year and a half, 2 years. So although we are more aware of it now, and there's a lot of personal tools that we now have access to that we didn't have before, AI has been here for a long time. And unless you're going to just go completely off the grid, odds are things that you're using are also incorporating AI, and you just may not even be aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I love what you said, because I went to a keynote and she said, if you don't use AI, RIP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
that was eye-opener. I'm like, oh my God, it's true.
As a person, as a business owner, as an employee, like all of it. Like even when hiring someone now, like, are you open to using AI? Because if you're not, then this is not the right firm for you.
Well, even to the simplest of everyday tasks. I mean, ChatGPT has helped us figure out what's wrong with our car. Jess, it has helped diagnose something that was wrong with her cat. I mean, it has helped in the most random ways where we've gone, even last night, my husband, we had an issue with our washer, and he's on there. Okay, fixed. It's done. Easy peasy.
It's better than you watching a YouTube video, because
100%.
I load photos, like exactly your point. I load photos of why is my record player not working, and then they'll tell me. It's not like using YouTube where you gotta sit through. Right.
Yeah. And hope that they're diagnosing what problem you have. Like with that, you can give it the problem.
It's tailored to you, specifically to exactly what you're needing in that moment. And I just don't think that the fear outweighs the potential.
Yeah.
So what I really love about what you're doing, I mean, apart from helping the industry, you could potentially help other people outside the industry, especially with the AEO services and custom GPTs, right? Because I don't want to sit around and figure that out myself if you can do it.
Right. No, and we work with all kinds of businesses. We actually did we called it an industry partner training, which was live here in Austin. And I had cabinet vendors, I had plumbing vendors, I had all kinds of different industry people that came, and it was like a deep dive into ChatGPT and how it could benefit them specifically. And I mean, anyone that my services are good for. I just obviously have that designer hat on, and I have the design brain. So I understand that part of the business, but I can teach any firm on creating the custom GPTs and doing the training on ChatGPT and some of the other tools that could benefit them. And also the SEO and AEO. Obviously that's any business.
Any business, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you start another business because you don't have enough.
We don't have enough going on.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right,
like I burnt out after San Francisco in November, and I'm like, I'm gonna take the rest of the year off. After 2 days, I'm like, okay, I'm starting a new project.
That's what we love about you, is because we can relate 100%. We feel like we have the same brain and the same motivation. So you're in my company.
I'll talk about it offline after this podcast. But
Perfect.
Yeah. So anything exciting? Well, first of all, do you have a limit to how many clients you're taking next year? Because I mean, do you have like, okay, you're only taking 10 one-on-ones, or like, how does that work? If people want to book you and hire you?
Yeah, I tried.
Is there a wait list?
Well, as of right now, like I'm taking on clients as of probably late January, early February for the one-on-ones, just because those are so time intensive. I really only want to cap those at like 2 to 3 firms at a time because it's a lot of work.
Per year or per month?
Well, it would be like a 4-month span basically, but sometimes they're staggered out. So it depends on that. But no, I mean, I am booking people, and I'm booking, I've still got a few openings for speaking engagements as well next year. 2 quarters I have available. And then it's always a lot easier, obviously, to do like the one-on-one ChatGPT creation and SEO, AEO. I can fit those in as needed. But the Design Academy is open to anyone all the time. So definitely that's a great starting point too.
So what are you excited about for 2026?
Oh man. I mean, there's a lot I'm excited about. I feel like this year was really a ramp up year for us at AI for Interiors. And so just honestly, like being able to help more firms, like knowing what I know now, like I gain knowledge every day on this stuff. And so I just feel like going into 2026, there's like lots of great speaking engagements, lots of firms that I'm working with currently that I'm just really excited about. And it brings me the passion to work with more firms and continuing these onboardings. We're going to do a little revamping on our website and be able to offer some products that, you know, if a firm doesn't necessarily want to bite off this entire one-on-one process, but they still want some of the tools, giving them kind of this plug and play ability to be able to do that through, you know, custom GPTs and how to get ChatGPT set up the right way and all of those things. But it's, instead of me working with them one-on-one in a 4-month process, if they've got someone on their team or they're really interested in learning, it'll give them the ability to be able to do that as well. So just lots of great things in the horizon. And I feel like it's good energy going into 2026 for sure.
So before I go to Stephanie, I just want to commend you for helping your competitors. A lot of people don't want to help fellow interior designers because it's their secret sauce. But the fact that you're helping so many people that are, some of them are probably competitors in the interior design world, but it's just so nice to see that you're opening it up to everybody in the industry, right? Like you're just helping everyone. You could have said, no, I'll keep this to us, but not no. So congrats on that, Jessica and Stephanie. Stephanie, what are you looking forward to next year?
Oh, 2026 is looking great. We have a new hire starting in January, so we're really excited about her to come on board. And we have a couple vendor collaborations that we're doing that I'm really excited about. And there's just amazing clients, amazing projects that are happening. But I think all of the almost like next level or side projects mean just as much to us that our team is excited about.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Jessica and Stephanie. I really enjoyed the conversation and I look forward to more in the future.
Yes. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for joining us in another episode of AI for Architects. I hope today's episode sparked your curiosity about AI's impact and opportunities in architecture. Subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss our upcoming episodes, and sign up for our newsletter for exclusive content and AI tool reviews at aiforarchitects.ai/subscribe. This podcast is brought to you by MGS Global Group, driving growth for architects everywhere.